What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, we're back here working on the purple AE86. We have a few small things to do today. Well, primarily one main thing, so I'm going to keep the video pretty straight to the point. Not a whole lot going on other than what we're doing, so I'm not going to drag it out a whole bunch. We're trying to build a harness bar, but the point of the video for now is just going to be building a bolt-in harness bar. This has some sort of, I think maybe Cusco or something, bolt-in. It looks like a 6-point roll bar. It's got like the main hoop, rear legs, and then it's got A-pillar bars that curve around the dash. So we're going to add a bolt-in harness bar because right now the harness is attached to like the rear shock tower bar integrated type piece, and the guy doesn't really like that, and it's really not the safest. The harness bar should be on the main hoop itself. So right now I am just cutting little end tabs because I ordered some of those tube ends, the pieces that you can slip a bolt through. So then I just gotta take some measurements and bend the tube up and cut some plate, and hopefully it goes pretty smoothly. Let me show you the car really quick though. So there's still a little bit of prep work left to do. You can kind of see in through the glass here. That's currently where the harnesses are strapped to, which again is not the most ideal spot. Not the safest because of all that slack that's in the harness. So you can't really see the main hoop because it's in line with the B-pillar really well. So yeah, we're just gonna add the harness bar somewhere right about the middle to the top portion of the bend. So he does have, I think, PCI rails in there, so I don't know if this is going to be his forever seat, but I'm assuming it's going to be in that general height. So we're going to try and find a good area where it's plus or minus 20 degrees, and I think ideally we're going to be happy probably right below the bend. I don't know, I'll figure that part out here momentarily. Sounds like the saw is done. But yeah, so that's essentially all we're doing. There's no real length that we have to follow any distance further back. This one is kind of just, I'm going to just do a general distance of a couple inches back from the main hoop, so that way the harness straps are nice and tight, because I do believe this is about as far back as the seat actually goes on the rails, so should be pretty easy. I have my laptop with me in my camera bag, so I will show you guys that. It's pretty same process as I normally do for all my bar stuff. If you guys haven't seen any videos before, I'll go over that. So let's get some basic measurements really quick though. Before we actually get into the harness bar stuff, I just want to throw this in there. I swung by the P.O. box yesterday, and we actually had a small package in there. So this comes from Josh Morgan all the way out in Brookville, I'm assuming Indiana, I think. So there's a little card in here as well as some packing paper and a small item. So the card reads, "Chris, I saw in a recent video that you could probably use one of these. It's a lot easier than using the factory press handle. I bought one from this guy years ago and figured it would help save you some time with future fabrication. Josh," and his Instagram is oh boy. And his Instagram is right there on the paper at stay24k. So let's see what he has here. So this thing, what is this thing? So a hydraulic bottle jack handle. So this is just a neat little billet piece, looks like. You just thread it on there. Sits on there so you don't have to use the press handle. So any time saved is money made when it comes to fabrication. So appreciate you, Josh. Thanks very much. But yeah, just want to give him a quick little shout out. Open that because it's been a while since we've got anything in there. So thank you. I'm gonna finish prepping this thing. We'll boot up the computer and start bending some tubes. All right, so you guys have seen this before if you've watched me build anything out of tube work here. So this is just Bendtech. I just have the 2-dimensional version because I am poor and I haven't had to use the 3-dimensional. So one of these days I do plan on upgrading, but the 2-dimensional version is still awesome for what it is that you're doing. So we are going to go in here. I already opened it up. I'm using a new part template, just a pre-bent or a pre-made template. So we're not going for a simple hoop. This is what I would use for building a main hoop. Or depending on the car, for example, here you have a double bevel hoop, which is a 4-point bend, etc. So lots of templates. So we're just going off of a basic U-shape. So we can do simple hoop or U-shape 1. The measurements are pretty much identical. So we're just going to go off of, we'll just say U-shape 1. So we'll click OK. Nobody cares. Windows security. Then it opens up this. So I already have pre-selected material over here. So we're going to do 1.5" DOM 120 wall. And then we're going to do my 1.5" tube on a 4.5" centerline radius is the die that I have. So then we just go in here and we go take these measurements. So from the end of tube to the middle of the tube, and then from mid-end to mid-end, if that makes sense to you guys. So kind of trying to zoom in a little bit more on that guy right there. So yeah, now you can see we're just measuring that distance and that distance, which is going to be pretty easy. So go grab a tape measure and figure it out. All right, so it's going to be easier to do this from the passenger side over here since there's no seat in it. Now, again, we're just doing the two simple spots. So I already know that I have to account for a couple inches of material to actually feed through the bender and do the bends. I forget exactly how much I need, so I'm just going to overkill it. Probably just throw, say, 4 inches extra on each end, and the program allows you to account for cutoff like that. So again, we're just going to go looking pretty level, basically. Yeah, I think mid hoop, upper part of the hoop is going to be right about where we want it, maybe just a tiny bit below. But yeah, just going to measure essentially from, I like to go off the outside edges of the bends because on that bending program you can choose outside, middle, or inside of the tube. So I go off the outside because it's a little bit easier to maneuver the tube that way for me. So we're going to go from here to that point. Alright, so I took my angle finder, found a good angle, which is going to be directly middle of the main hoop bend. So we're going to be sitting at pretty much 13 degrees. You guys can focus on that? Yeah, 13 degrees. So get a measurement straight across. So we're looking about 48.5, and then as for a length back, I don't need to go far at all, so I'm going to just say 5 inches and then add a little bit of cutoff, so 9 inches. Alright, so after doing a little bit more looking at this thing, I think I'm going to change it to just a straight across harness bar because there's really no need to do the bends in this one. So, I mean, it's just no different than the rear section that he has now, so I think I'm going to just keep it simple, because then I think he'll like the cleaner look of there not being extra tubes in the back in case he ever decides to put anything in the back seat area. And it'll still be just as strong and ideally just as safe. So yeah, let's just go with the straight across bar instead. That'll make it a lot easier. So we'll just take the same measurement, drop a few inches off, and then just make some tabs to bolt it in with and weld it all together. So I had these tube ends, the weldable tube end things, and I welded some washers on the ends to help align the bolts a little bit better. And dang, dude, I wish all my welds looked like that. Like, that's some crispiness. But yeah, we're looking pretty good here. So yeah, once these things cool off, then I can go ahead and I can just make the bar. It'll be super easy. I'm just going to use 1.5" 120 wall DOM. And for the parts where the tubes are actually going to mount, I have a couple of these harness tabs left over from my last batch of DA harness bars. So these things are perfect. So you can see here, for example, just like that, they just contour perfectly to the tube, and then you just weld them in place. Nice and simple. Clean, efficient, it works. Harness bar is all buttoned up now, so it's just resting in place with temporary bolts. Just those guys. I gotta have the guy pick up some bolts when he comes by or something. I don't have any hardware here, but yeah, we're looking pretty darn good. So, what do you guys think? Sorry for the dump truck out there. Looking pretty good though. Owner just came by, checked out the harness bar, dropped off some more material to finish the exhaust up, which will be for the other video to finish up what we had going on in that video. So hopefully you guys thought this was a neat little video. I don't really have much else to do, so I think we're just going to probably wrap this all up here. So on that note, guys, thanks for hanging out with me here on the channel today. Again, a bit of a shorter video, but hopefully you guys didn't mind and hopefully you still enjoyed it. If you want to help support the channel though, like you guys seen, I do have a P.O. box. You can find that at the top of the video description, and you can send me something if your heart feels so compelled. And I also have the Big Cartel, where if you want to get some merch or some of my products as I can get to them. And mind you, all my metal products are built to order, so it may take anywhere from a few days to a week or something to get to it. I usually try and get to it ASAP. But anyways, guys, again, thank you for spending some time with me here today on the channel. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. So do what you love, forget about the rest, enjoy your day. Go be nice to somebody. Peace out.